Herbicide mode of action describes the specific way a herbicide interacts with plant tissues or cellular processes to control or kill weeds. To effectively manage herbicide resistance, it's essential to use multiple effective modes of action. Diversifying the herbicides applied can reduce selection pressure and sustain the long-term efficacy of weed management strategies. To help identify which herbicides have different modes of action, there is a number assigned to each one, so using a different herbicide group number means using a different mode of action. So let us look at an example of how we might determine and use effective modes of action. We're looking for herbicides that would give us good to excellent weed control. Another way of looking at it is providing at least 80% control. Where do you find this information? Extension weed specialists across the country put together publications that list the common weed species that they experience and provide these ratings. So here's an example of some of the publications that you might use to find these efficacy ratings. Let's take a look at an example of giant foxtail and glyphosate-resistant common ragweed management in corn. Our pre-emergence herbicide is Bicep 2 Magnum, a combination of atrazine plus S-metolachlor. Atrazine is a group 5 herbicide and S-metolachlor is a group 15. So in this example, we're getting two different modes of action with Bicep 2 Magnum. Our post-emergence application is a combination of atrazine plus glyphosate. Atrazine is a group 5 and glyphosate is a group 9 herbicide. So each application includes two different modes of action. Bicep 2 Magnum is applied at planting and contains S-metolachlor, which provides excellent control of giant foxtail. But atrazine provides little to no control. So for our pre-emergence application, we're using two modes of action, and we're using only one effective mode of action. For post-emergence, we're using a tank mixture of glyphosate plus atrazine. Again, the atrazine portion is not effective for giant foxtail control, while glyphosate provides excellent control. Again, we have one effective mode of action with our post-application. So while over the course of the season, giant foxtail is being treated with 3 herbicides, it is 2 effective modes of action. Remember, we're looking for at least 2 effective modes of action for herbicide resistance management. This program rotates effective modes of action during the course of the season. Ideally, we'd want to mix and rotate herbicides, but if you can't do both, be sure you're doing at least one so that weeds are being exposed to multiple effective modes of action. Let us look at this from the standpoint of glyphosate-resistant common ragweed. Again, our pre-emergence herbicide is Bicep 2 Magnum, 2 modes of action, but only one effective mode of action because of the poor control from S-metolachlor. In our post-emergence application, again, we're using 2 modes of action, a group 5 and a group 9 herbicide. But because glyphosate is not effective on this biotype, we only have one effective mode of action. And then when we look at this from a full season approach of a pre-emergence followed by a post-emergence application, how many total modes of action are we using? Again, atrazine is used twice, so we're using 3 modes of action over the course of the season. When we look at this from an effective mode of action, again, atrazine was used twice, S-metolachlor or a group 15 is not effective, and the glyphosate does not provide control because this biotype is resistant to glyphosate. So we're using only one effective mode of action. Even though it is being treated twice over the course of the season, it's the same mode of action both times. So from a standpoint of a resistance management, this is not an appropriate approach for glyphosate-resistant common ragweed. In our simplified example, we used 2 effective modes of action in sequence within the same year. However, for enhanced resistance management, using effective herbicides at the same time is preferred, like we see here with atrazine plus dicamba. It's important to understand herbicide mode of action, and when thinking of resistance management, it's important to use at least 2 effective modes of action. particularly for those species that are prone to develop resistance.